Jack Miller, a decorated Marine Corps captain with combat experience in the lunar conflicts, is on a routine patrol mission at the edge of human space when his ship is ambushed by the Krell, a warlike alien species known for their brutal gladiatorial arenas. The Krell have been expanding their territory, seeing humans as physically inferior but entertaining prey for their combat pits. Jack is captured along with his small crew after a valiant but hopeless battle against the superior Krell warship. While in the holding cell on the Krell vessel, Jack meets Rex, the champion gladiator of the Krell arenas. Rex is a towering, scaled alien with 4 arms and natural armor plating, standing nearly 8 feet tall. He boasts about his 100 victories and mocks the soft human, who will surely die in his first match. When Rex learns Jack is a Marine, he laughs even harder, explaining that human military training is considered a joke among the Krell, who are bred for combat from birth. Rex demonstrates his strength by effortlessly bending a metal bar from the cell, telling Jack to prepare for humiliation before death. The Krell ship arrives at their homeworld, a harsh desert planet with massive colosseums visible from orbit. Jack is separated from his crew and brought to the gladiator quarters where he is given minimal training with alien weapons and told he will fight in the arena the next day. That night, while the other alien gladiators sleep, Jack begins quietly exercising, adapting to the slightly higher gravity, and observing the weaknesses in the Krell security systems. When a guard notices him training and laughs, Jack remains silent, letting them underestimate him, something his Marine instructors always taught as a tactical advantage. The part ends with Jack being fitted for arena combat, given inferior armor compared to the other fighters, and hearing the roar of the crowd as the games begin. Rex passes by, still mocking him, unaware that Jack is studying his movements and identifying potential weaknesses in the Krell physiology. Jack's first arena battle is against a smaller Krell fighter, meant as an appetizer for the crowd before the main events. The arena is filled with thousands of Krell spectators, all expecting to see the human quickly dispatched. Among the elite viewers is Commander Hfycodex, a female Krell military leader who watches with particular interest, having never seen a human fighter before. When the battle begins, Jack appears hesitant and clumsy, reinforcing the Krell's belief in human weakness. His opponent, overconfident, charges forward with minimal caution. At the last second, Jack reveals his true speed and combat training, using the Krell's momentum against him with a Marine combat technique. The crowd falls silent in shock as the human drops and rolls, striking at the vulnerability behind the Krell's knee joint that Jack had observed earlier. Jack defeats his opponent without killing him, which confuses the bloodthirsty crowd. Commander Hfycodex leans forward in her viewing box, suddenly intrigued by the human's ethics and unexpected skill. When asked why he spared his opponent, Jack explains that Marines are trained to neutralize threats, not necessarily kill them, a concept alien to Krell culture. Rex watches from the sidelines, no longer laughing but still dismissive, claiming Jack's victory was merely luck against a weak opponent. The Krell leaders, seeing the crowd's unexpected interest in the human, decide to pit Jack against progressively stronger opponents rather than executing him immediately. Jack is returned to the gladiator quarters where the other alien fighters now keep their distance, reassessing the human they had previously mocked. Jack uses this time to learn more about the arena, the different alien species forced to fight there, and the weaknesses of various Krell fighting styles. The part ends with Commander Hfycodex requesting a private audience with the human, curious about Marine training and human combat philosophy. As guards escort Jack to her quarters, he catches glimpses of the Krell city, noting potential escape routes and weaknesses in their security, information he plans to use when the time is right. 2 weeks have passed, and Jack has survived 7 arena battles, each against increasingly difficult opponents. The Krell audience has begun chanting his name, fascinated by his unorthodox fighting style that relies on strategy rather than brute strength. Jack has been upgraded to better quarters and equipment as his value as an entertainer grows. Commander Hfycodex has been studying human combat techniques, meeting with Jack between matches to learn more about Earth's military history. Through these conversations, Jack learns crucial information about Krell society, their military capabilities, and their plans to eventually attack human colonies. He carefully hides his growing understanding of their language and culture. Rex, seeing his popularity threatened, demands that the arena masters pit him against Jack in the Grand Championship. The Krell leaders refuse, wanting to extend the humans' surprising entertainment value. This creates tension among the Krell elite, with some supporting Rex and others intrigued by the novelty Jack brings to their stagnant gladiatorial traditions. Jack locates his captured crew members, who are being held in work camps around the city. Using his new status, he convinces Commander Hfycodex to bring his engineer, Tom, to the arena as his equipment manager. This allows Jack to begin formulating an escape plan while continuing to win matches and gain the crowd's favor. During a particularly difficult battle against two opponents simultaneously, Jack uses adaptability and teamwork, turning one opponent against the other, concepts foreign to the individualistic Krell culture. This victory brings him unprecedented fame, with younger Krell beginning to imitate his fighting style and tactical approach. Rex, watching Jack's increasing influence, confronts him in the training area, threatening to kill him regardless of the arena rules. Jack remains calm, using psychological warfare by pointing out flaws in Rex's fighting technique that he's observed. This enrages Rex, who attacks Jack outside the arena, a serious violation of Krell gladiatorial code. The part ends with Jack deliberately losing the confrontation, but in a way that exposes Rex's dishonorable conduct to Commander Hfycodex and other Krell officials. This strategic defeat actually strengthens Jack's position while damaging Rex's reputation, demonstrating that true strength includes knowing when not to fight. A month into Jack's captivity, the annual Krell Champions Tournament is announced, a series of battles determining the Grand Champion who will receive freedom and riches. Despite being a human, Jack's popularity forces the arena masters to include him in the tournament, much to Rex's outrage. Behind the scenes, Jack and his engineer Tom have been modifying his arena equipment, creating hidden communications devices and subtle weapons that the Krell don't recognize as such. They've also made contact with the rest of their captured crew through a network of alien servants who have grown sympathetic to the unusual human who treats them with respect. Commander Hfycodex, impressed by Jack's combat philosophy focusing on precision over power, begins privately questioning the Krell's dismissive view of humans. She reveals to Jack that her clan has been losing political influence to more aggressive factions who want to launch a full invasion of human space. Jack uses these conversations to plant ideas about the true capabilities of human military response. The tournament begins with preliminary rounds where Jack faces the champions of other alien species the Krell have subjugated. Each victory increases both his understanding of different combat styles and his status among the arena crowds. Young Krell especially have begun imitating his tactical approach, creating a cultural shift that worries the conservative Krell elders. Rex, desperate to reassert dominance, publicly challenges Jack to a final match regardless of the tournament structure. The arena masters, seeing the potential profits in such a hyped battle, agree to make it the tournament finale. Jack accepts with a calm confidence that disturbs Rex, who expected fear or hesitation. In preparation for the final battle, Jack is granted special training privileges. He uses this opportunity to further explore the arena complex, mapping escape routes and security systems. He discovers that his upcoming match with Rex will coincide with a major religious festival when security will be reduced as guards attend ceremonies. Commander Hfycodex visits Jack the night before the final match, revealing her growing doubt about Krell's superiority, and warning him that regardless of the match's outcome, radical factions plan to execute him afterward to prevent further human influence on their culture. She offers to help him escape if he takes her with him to human space. The part ends with Jack finalizing his escape plan with Tom and deciding whether to trust Commander Hfycoadex's offer of assistance. As he prepares for sleep before the big match, the camera pulls back to show Rex in his own quarters, injecting himself with illegal strength-enhancing substances, willing to risk disgrace to ensure the humans' defeat and death. The day of the championship arrives. The Krell Coliseum is filled beyond capacity, with the match being broadcast to colonies across their empire. Jack enters the arena to a mixture of cheers and jeers, while Rex receives universal adulation from the Krell spectators. The contrast between the massive four-armed alien and the smaller human creates a visual that reinforces the expected outcome. Before the match begins, Rex addresses the crowd, promising to restore Krell honor by crushing the humans slowly. When Jack is offered the chance to speak, he simply states that strength without control is just violence, a statement that confuses many Krell but resonates with Commander Hfycodex and the younger spectators influenced by his previous matches. As the battle begins, Rex attacks with drug-enhanced fury, his four arms wielding different weapons simultaneously. Jack appears overwhelmed, taking several hits that draw blood, causing the crowd to roar with approval. Rex laughs at the human's apparent weakness, shouting insults about Earth and humanity between strikes. But Jack is implementing a strategy allowing Rex to exhaust himself while studying the effects of the enhancement drugs. Midway through the battle, Rex's movements become less coordinated as the drugs affect his judgment. Jack begins his counterattack, using the arena environment and Rex's momentum against him, fighting smarter rather than harder. The tide turns as Jack systematically targets weak points in Rex's armor and natural physiology. The crowd watches in stunned silence as the human evades the increasingly erratic attacks of their champion, landing precise strikes that gradually wear Rex down. Commander Hfycodex recognizes the brilliance of Jack's strategy, while the Krell elders watch in growing concern. In a decisive moment, Jack disarms Rex of his primary weapons and forces him to his knees using a leverage technique that neutralizes the advantage of his multiple limbs. With Rex at his mercy, Jack has the opportunity to kill the Krell champion as tradition demands. The crowd falls completely silent, waiting for the killing blow. Instead, Jack steps back and declares that Marines don't kill defeated opponents. This unprecedented act shocks the arena. Mercy is seen as weakness in Krell culture. Rex, humiliated and enraged, attempts a dishonorable surprise attack despite yielding. Jack responds with a final, precise strike that renders Rex unconscious but alive. The arena erupts in chaos, some Krell outraged at the violation of tradition, others fascinated by this new concept of strength with restraint. As Jack stands victorious, arena guards suddenly surround him. The radical faction Commander Hfycodex warned about has decided to eliminate the human regardless of his victory, fearing his influence on their culture. The part ends with Jack being escorted from the arena under heavy guard, apparently headed for execution despite his championship win. Unknown to the guards, the apparent injuries he sustained during the fight concealed the activation of the hidden communications devices he and Tom had prepared, signaling the beginning of their escape plan. Jack is taken to a holding cell rather than the usual gladiator quarters. The Krell High Council has convened an emergency session to determine his fate, with the radical faction arguing for immediate execution and Commander Hfycoadex's faction advocating for honoring the traditional freedom granted to champions. As they debate, the religious festival reaches its peak, with most guards and citizens participating in the ceremonies. Tom activates the escape plan, using the modified arena equipment to disable security systems temporarily. Jack's other crew members, who have been strategically positioned through Commander Hfycoadex's influence, begin creating diversions across the complex. The mysterious malfunctions are attributed to divine displeasure at Rex's dishonorable conduct, furthering the confusion. Jack easily overcomes his distracted guards using non-lethal techniques. As he navigates through the back passages of the arena complex, he encounters Rex, who has escaped medical confinement seeking revenge. Rather than another fight, Jack appeals to Rex's sense of honor, explaining that true warriors respect each other's strengths. This unexpected approach, combined with Rex's recent humbling experience, causes the Alien Gladiator to hesitate. Meanwhile, Commander Hfycodex arrives with news that the radical faction has ordered the execution of all human prisoners and is preparing a fleet to attack human colonies, fearing that word of Jack's victories might reach Earth. She confirms her decision to defect, bringing crucial intelligence about Krell military capabilities and weaknesses. Jack, Commander Hfycodex, and Rex form an unlikely alliance of convenience, fighting their way to the spaceport where Tom has prepared a Krell scout ship for escape. Along the way, they free the remaining human prisoners and some alien gladiators who choose to join them rather than continue in Krell servitude. As they reach the ship, they're confronted by Krell elite guards. Rex, in a moment of character growth, stays behind to hold off the pursuers, telling Jack, "Show me what mercy means when you tell my story." This sacrifice allows the humans and Commander Hfycodex to escape the planet. Aboard the scout ship, Jack uses Commander Hfycox's codes to access the Krell military network, transmitting data about their fleet movements and weaknesses to Earth defense forces before jumping to hyperspace. Commander Hfycodex, now seeing the full extent of Jack's strategic thinking beyond just arena combat, realizes that what she interpreted as mercy was also part of a longer tactical game. In the final scene, Jack and his crew return to Earth space, bringing valuable intelligence that will help prevent the planned Krell invasion. Military leaders are shocked to see a high-ranking Krell defector, but Jack explains that Commander Hfycodex represents a growing faction within Krell society that questions their traditional ways after witnessing alternatives. The story ends with news reports spreading across human space about the Marine who conquered the Krell arena not through superior strength but through intelligence, adaptability, and the moral code of a warrior culture more advanced than the Krell had ever considered. Commander Hfycodex begins training Earth forces in Krell combat techniques while learning more about human society, representing the first peaceful cultural exchange between the species. In the final paragraph, intelligence reports indicate growing civil unrest on the Krell homeworld, with younger Krell questioning traditional beliefs about strength and honor. Among the rumors is that Rex survived and is now leading a reform movement inspired by the human Marine who showed that true strength includes knowing when to grant mercy, a concept previously unknown in their warrior culture.